Hello again. This is Lauren Anderson, contributor to Great Black Speakers. And today I'm speaking with the master of motivation, Yolanda Tucker, who is a professional speaker and an author. Yolanda, welcome.
Thanks, Lauren. Thank
It's our pleasure, my pleasure especially. So tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Yolanda M. Tucker, and like you said earlier, I am an award-winning author. I am a professional speaker. I've won several awards for my speaking abilities as well. Um, I am a really an all-around just cool chick.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Certainly would agree with that because I've read up on some information you have on your site and some of the work that you've done. You are a veteran in the speaking industry. So tell me, how did you get into becoming a professional speaker?
Well, believe it or not, my high school guidance counselor, she tried to coax me into being a speaker in high school. Because I had such a transitional story, such a overwhelming and powerful story. She thought that I could go out into the world and make money at telling my story, and I thought that is not what I want to do. I want to go to college and become a CEO of a company. And as the years went by and people started to know my story and hear more about, the things that I had been through, like molestation and abuse as a child, raising my two younger brothers and having my own son at 16, and
Wow.
putting one brother through college and putting my son through college. And I'm a junior high school dropout, and I sit before you today with two master's degrees and a law certification.
Wow.
So as people started to learn my story, they asked me to speak. And so, of course, I started doing small events, here locally at teen centers and things like that. And it just started to grow from there.
Wow, what an amazing story of triumph. Tell me, how did you overcome those very serious challenges?
Well, my grandparents gave me a strong foundation in God. So definitely my faith. Without my faith, I would not be sitting here in front of you today, Lauren. So that would definitely be one. The second would be perseverance, having the mindset and the will to make it happen. I remember in junior high school, I used to have to walk and I was pregnant. I would walk to school every day and I would walk from school. Didn't matter if it was rain, cold, it did not matter. And one of my son's father's uncles, he told me one day I happened to go over for a period of time, and he said, "You know what? I saw you walk all the way to college." And when he said it, I had never thought about it like that. But when he said it, it was actually overwhelming. I literally cried.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. So tell me, when you go out to your engagements and you're speaking with the audience, first of all, what is the primary audience that your message resonates with?
My primary audience is young ladies and women ages 13 to about 34. And I'm sorry, what was the next part of that question?
Yeah, so the next part is that's such an amazing story. It's very like heartfelt, it's very personal. How do people walk away from your engagements? What are the sort of testimonials that you're hearing from the audience?
You would be surprised, Lauren. I've had um, young ladies come up and confide in me with about some things that are mind blowing. They
Wow.
are literally mind blowing. I remember one young lady, and the father of her baby had raped her. And
Mm.
so she was dealing with this young, he was a young boy, and he had gone to jail but not for very long, and now he was out. And so she was having to deal with him because he was still the father of that child and had visitation rights.
Wow.
And so, that was one of those heartbreaking stories that, that's very difficult. um the end of that spectrum, I had I believe she was in her mid 60s, but she was a mother and of I think six girls. But she came up to me and told me something that she never told anyone, and that was her father had molested her, and her own children did not know that. So
Wow.
the response to I have a lot of people come up and say, "Wow, I can't believe that you did it. And now that I see you in living color that you did it. I know that I can do it.
Hmm.
In addition, there are a lot of times that, people come up and tell me some heart wrenching things that have happened to them. And, it's my duty, one, to pray for that person, but also, to try to give them some uplifting words of encouragement that will help them continue on and go forward in their lives.
Yeah, that's amazing. Those stories, oh my gosh, that's so much levity and weight for one individual to carry for so long, especially a woman in her 60s, finally coming out with that information. So, how does that make you feel? I know a lot of
It's
times
that.
you a lot of times, like as preachers or speakers or anyone who interacts with the public, you often get that feedback from the audience that can be very heart wrenching. And your job is to instill positivity in them, but then you still walk away and you still feel something about that. So you said that it's devastating for you.
It is devastating. And, I can't walk around with my own problems on my shoulders. So I definitely can't walk around with others. So you have to find a cleansing process to get those things off of you. For me, it's meditation and prayer.
Those are definitely proven to be stress relievers. So glad you have some type of outlet for that. Tell me about you've told me about the personal struggles and triumphs, but you mix your message with professional triumphs as well. So, what are some of the professional triumphs?
Oh, yes. I've definitely had some professional triumphs as well as been in the valley low a few times on the professional level. And so I talk about real life stories, leadership stories that people can relate to, things that they could take back to their workplaces and actually implement. One of the things I talk about is communication and how important communication is. And a lot of people don't really realize, especially when it comes to, high level executives, that everyone matters. And to get them to understand from the person that actually guards the building that you're in, sweep the floor, clean the toilets. Those people are just as important as the people that sit on this on those people that are in the boardrooms. And so when people start to understand communication and they're able to relate to each other, it changes the workforce. And so those are stories that I try to go in and help empower leaders to change their workforce and the way that their business runs.
Now, you were a consultant for many years, and are you still a consultant?
Yes, I am a contract and procurement consultant for small businesses, for small and large businesses.
Okay. And so, what exactly does that mean?
Okay. So that means I help, well, on the large business side, what I do is I facilitate training for vendors. So, say for instance, you are a vendor for ABC Company and they've just hired you to be a vendor, and you need to understand how their procurement process works. As a small business owner, is stop their cycle. You do not want to stop their procurement cycle because then you're going to be out on your thumb. So I get the information, the massive information that they need, and I pare it down to what they absolutely have to know in order to make that contract work, and I facilitate training on that. On the opposite side, for small business owners, I help with RFPs. So say ABC Company just won a contract and now they need to put out a request for proposal, which what is what a RFP is, to get a service such as they need to pave a sidewalk or they need to pave a parking lot. So they would put out an RFP. Well, a lot of small businesses, RFPs could be one page. They could be up until the hundreds of pages according to whether it's a federal, state, what type of RFP it when they see those packages and they were like, what am I supposed to do with this? Well, I'm that person that will help them actually prepare RFP response, hopefully the winning response, as well if they get the RFP or would they win the RFP, or if they're offered a contract, I'll help negotiate the contract and administer it through the life of that contract, which in turns means that they're going to make sure that their KPIs or their performance metrics are met each and every month in their contract. Reporting that's required. Those are turned in on time. That type stuff.
Excellent work. Excellent work. And I asked that question because you never know, who watches the video and they need some type of consultant, and you may be the type of consultant they need. So it's good to know that information. Now, you are also an award-winning author. Tell me about your book. Give us an overview of what to expect as a reader.
Well, I am one of those authors that like to write about real stories. So, my first book is entitled "Blessed Beyond Belief," and that book is it's an autobiography of my life. So I go through and talk about some of the things that I told you guys about a little bit ago. I try to make it funny. I have a book called Lessons Learned, My Reflection. And that's kind of like Patty's Pearls. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, Patty LaBelle wrote this book called Patty's Pearls. And she went through and gave pearls of wisdom. But mine is just a little bit different in the fact that when I was little, my grandmother used to say things that I had no idea what they meant, like one monkey don't stop the show.
Yeah.
Like, what does a monkey have to do with anything? Now, again, I'm a little girl, so I had no idea. And I write things in my second book. The third book is my first fiction. It's called All I Ever Wanted to Do Is Love You. And again, it's based off a real story, a real young lady that used to date my brother. And she ends up getting involved in a very bad domestic relationship, and she loses a child. So I kind of take that story and twist and turn it. And then my fourth book, which is my newest one, and I'm not going to say the whole title, it's Pink Pea Pies and Peanut Butter. And that
Hmm.
book is actually about five, myself and four friends. And it's just some of our real life stories. I actually created characters, and I put those real life stories into those characters' profiles. But it's a book about empowering women. It's about, we always say men think with their little head, do the same thing. And we as women we've been taught not to talk about sex and money. And those are things that affect our everyday life, and we need to talk about it.
Yeah. That is true. That is very true.
And we need to make better decisions.
Awesome. And where can people seek out to buy your book?
Oh, I'm on Amazon. The two newer ones I'll ever wanted to do in Pink Pea Pies and Peanut Butter are both on Amazon.com. The other two, I'm working to get those retyped. I lost a computer and it blew up. So
Oh,
I'm
man.
working to have those things retyped and get those back on the market here very soon.
Okay. And give us your website where we can look you up and perhaps some contact information where people can reach out to you.
Sure, my website is Yolanda M. Tucker, Speakers, of course, and I'm
I'm
on books.
sorry. Can you give that to me one more time? We had a little signal issue there.
YolandaMTucker.com is my website. I'm on Great Black Speakers as well. They can find me there. And I'm also on Books Go Social.
Okay. Any social media?
Yes, I have a fan page on Facebook, Yolanda M. Tucker. Social media, I'm sorry, Twitter tag is at MSYM Tucker. And Instagram is Yolanda Tucker as well. Or I think
Excellent.
I'm sorry, MSY Tucker, I believe.
Okay. Excellent. That's good information for people that want to, keep track of your work and what you're doing. So you have this label of the Master of Motivation. Where did this come from? How were you assigned this label?
Well, I did a fashion event in Lake Charles, Louisiana. It's been a few years ago now, and I was given a key to the city, and I got dubbed the Master of Motivation. The ladies there, they expressed that my story was just so real, and they could relate to it, and they were motivated beyond belief. A couple of them were in. I did a couple of different events. One was at a shelter, and a couple of the ladies were so motivated that they started their own business.
Oh, wow.
So I'm, just excited about that. But they dubbed me the Master of Motivation.
Wow, that's an amazing title to have or label. And what a great accomplishment to get a key to the city. There's not a lot of people that can, get that type of reward. And you also have a day named after you. Is that correct?
I do. They did. They named it Yolanda M. Tucker Day.
That is awesome.
That is awesome.
So what do you do when it's your day? What kind of festivities take place, if at all?
I'm sad to say absolutely nothing. I am I'm probably too busy trying to, help that next customer or, sell that next book. So you know what, I'm gonna, since you mentioned it, I'm going to put it on my calendar this year and celebrate.
Celebrate your day.
I am.
Not a lot of people get a day, maybe great black speakers, we can do like a picnic for, Yolanda's day or something. That would be pretty cool.
That would be cool. That's a great idea.
Yeah, so tell me what interests you in great black speakers and why you joined.
Well, when I first came across great black speakers, I said to myself, huh? I'm a great black speaker. Why am I not on there? And I immediately reached out to say, why am I not on here? And what I've enjoyed about it thus far, above anything else, is that all of my speaking information is in one place. A potential customer can go and get everything, everything they need, from books to blogs, all kind of information that's right there at their fingertips in one convenient space.
Yeah, yeah, definitely an advantage, when people are trying to look you up and, you don't have to send them to 5 different places, but hey, just go to GBS, check out my profile. You can see my videos, you can see my bio. So definitely a great hub for your speaking information. So if you have anything else you'd like to leave with us before we part, you now have the floor.
Well, I just like to leave the viewers with this. No matter what you're going through, no matter what your circumstance is, no matter where you are in life, you're right where you're supposed to be. Love yourself in that moment and take the next small step in the right direction, and you'll be just fine.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Yolanda Tucker, Master Motivator. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.